What's up, everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. And a popular question I get asked is, what should you buy? Should you buy a DSLR or should you buy a mirrorless camera? Well, I've had both systems. I am mainly a DSLR photographer. But what are the perks of each? What should you buy? What can you justify? I'm here to give you all sides of the argument and to give you my final thoughts on which mirrorless is for or which you should buy a DSLR for and who that is. And hopefully this helps you out. So let's dive into this right now. What are the tips, the perks, and everything of each system? Let's go. So the size and weight, that's pretty much one of the most important things a lot of people look at when they're thinking to go mirrorless versus a DSLR. Well, what does each represent? A DSLR is obviously bigger, it's bulkier, it's ergonomically better for the majority of the people, but once again, it's bigger, it's harder to lug around, you need different lenses and all that kind of stuff, so it does have more of a portability issue compared to a mirrorless camera, which is way more compact, smaller, you can fit most of it into your pocket, it all depends, they're just easier to carry around. So that is something that can really decide for you. For me, mirrorless cameras, they fit okay in my hand, but ergonomically and all that kind of stuff, I prefer a DSLR. That's just for me. I don't mind the extra weight on a camera body, but once again, if weight is a matter for you, a DSLR might not be the way to go. There is smaller DSLRs like the Canon SL1, which is like palm size and stuff like that, but just keep that in mind. So portability, size, ergonomically, you can decide that as well. Another huge point to also look at is lens selection. You tend to get a lot more of a lens variety and selection for DSLR cameras. So that's a huge perk of going that route. Now, I guess the alternative, or the other side of it is there's not as much confusion on the mirrorless side because you have your certain line, your certain select lenses, and you don't have to be confused with everything. But you really get a more of a variety. You can use older lenses. You can be more versatile on the DSLR line. So that's really kind of pick your poison there. DSLR definitely wins in regards to lens selection and variety. Being able to use a ton and opposites and all that kind of stuff. There's a ton of adapters out there, but DSLRs definitely get the nod in that favor. How about autofocusing? That is a huge thing for a lot of people. And a DSLR, in the way it works, there's two different things. There's contrast detection and there's phase detection. The best one is phase detection because of the way the light hits the mirror and hits directly onto the sensor. But in mirrorless, it takes a little bit to go through because it's got to go right through the lens, and that's more of the contrasty type of thing. It's got to look for it a little more. And the mirrorless uses contrast detection, where DSLRs use phase detection, which is faster. So DSLRs do get the nod in regards to phase detection. But how about frames per second? So autofocusing is definitely faster on a DSLR. What about frames per second? Mirrorless does get a huge nod in regards to that. A lot of the cameras go from 9, 10, 11, even some to 12 frames per second, which is absolutely amazing. And only way to get like 7 for the most part without spending $6,000 on a high-end DSLR is to get a battery grip for your DSLR. But mainly you're looking at 4.5, 5 frames per second, 6, etc., around 7, and that's even souped up. So mirrorless, hands down, you can definitely use continuous a lot better, but once again, it's really up to you. Is there really a big difference with image stabilization and with image quality? And the answer is no. There's a lot of tests out there, so that's not a huge factor for a lot of people, so let's keep moving on with that. And how about the battery life? Well, it tends to be the most part that the battery will last longer with DSLRs. The way that it draws power, the way that it can save it and consume it, as long as you're not using live view a ton. But the problem is you're mainly using a lot of live view, the electronic viewfinders, which I'll cover in a second, in your mirrorless camera. So your battery gets chewed through way quicker. So if you're not worried about battery life and you want the portability, mirrorless is a great option, but if you need something a little more rugged, a little more like that, a DSLR definitely wins in regards to battery life. And how about the viewfinder? Well, to me personally, what that is for the most part, DSLRs have the optical viewfinder, which is you see as you're getting, and mirrorless cameras tend to have EVF, electronic viewfinders, which it's electronic. There might be a little bit of lag and stuff like that, but so once again, that uses up a little more battery. But to me, I think optical is definitely the way to go in regards to that. But once again, if you're looking for something portability, maybe something more street, a mirrorless camera with, looking at the back of the screen might be the option for you. So there are a ton of options out there. Which one should you go? Should you go mirrorless? Should you go DSLR? Well, I feel if you are looking into mirrorless, maybe you're the casual, you're a semi-pro, you're looking for just a camera to have with you, or maybe if you're a professional, you're looking to have just like another portable camera around you. So I really think it's great in portability factor. Its video is going to be great, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit of a faster with some easier options. But if you're more of a prosumer, a pro, you're going to want more of a DSLR, in my opinion. And I know pros that went to mirrorless, but in my opinion, I think DSLRs are more rugged. They fare a little bit better in lower light. The batteries last longer, and just the fact for me that there's lens selection, that you get more of a variety, is a huge factor for myself, because you're able to do a lot more than you can with some other brands. So both really hold their merit really well. It all depends on what you want. I think size and ergonomics really matters to me. DSLRs fit better to me, so that automatically kind of cancels out mirrorless in a way. Once again, it all depends on you. I ran through a lot of the factors, and hopefully this helped you out a little bit. And I'm not this only DSLR type of person. I really look at things from both sides, and they both have their place in the market. It's just what is for you. Gave you my opinion. What are your thoughts? Down below. Don't get too crazy on, it's like Mac versus PC. Just be realistic, be common sense, and let's go from there. Write those down in the comments below. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Mirrorless versus DSLR. It's a huge question. Which is best for you? What feels best for you? And all that kind of stuff. It matters on you, not me. But I gave my insight. Hopefully this helped you guys and girls out. Good luck in getting whatever camera you decide to go with. And no matter what, keep an eye out. And guess what? No matter what you have, it matters more about the creativity that you have up here than right here. Have a good one.